As soon as the story begins, it's clear that a man is injecting green liquid into an egg yolk. Immediately after that, the egg yolk becomes one or two. The scene cuts, and we see people creating a star named Elizabeth Sparkle. Elizabeth is a beautiful model and the host of a show. For some time, people come to the show and take selfies. However, slowly, people's attention fades away from Elizabeth Sparkle and the star breaks. No one even fixes it, revealing that people's interest in Elizabeth Sparkle is dwindling. The scene cuts to Elizabeth Sparkle, now in her 50th year. Despite her age, she still hosts the same show. After the shooting, when Elizabeth goes to the washroom, she finds out that the ladies' washroom is closed. She has to go to the male washroom, where the show's director is talking on the phone. He's discussing Elizabeth's declining ratings and the need for a new young and beautiful girl for the show. Hearing this, Elizabeth breaks down badly. The beauty she was proud of is over today. Elizabeth looks at herself in the mirror where many wrinkles have appeared. She's sad about her youth, but now she's also sad that she's being thrown out of the show. Elizabeth can't leave all this behind. She first meets the director, who says, "Look, Elizabeth, I can't help you at all. My show runs with people, and I want to give them what they want, beauty." And she's no longer in the show. The director's words devastate Elizabeth. She leaves the hotel, but while driving, the director's words echo in her ears. She loses her attention from driving, and the car crashes badly. Surprisingly, Elizabeth doesn't have a scratch in the accident. It's her good luck. The doctor discharges Elizabeth from the hospital, but she starts crying bitterly. She sees her pictures on the way down from the billboard, and it's clear that she's struggling. A nurse checks her backbone and gives her clothes. Elizabeth feels a message in her coat, which reads, "I changed my knife." There's also a drive with it labeled "The Substance." Elizabeth comes home and runs to the drive, where information about a magical fluid called the substance is being given. This substance can give any old person a new and young variant. Along with this substance fluid, there's another fluid that keeps both variants together. This work is not easy, but not very difficult. To use this substance, it's necessary to activate both variants every 7 days. Elizabeth thinks this is a lie at first. She throws the flash drive in the dustbin, thinking it's a lie. But at night she feels a breakdown again. She starts disturbing the picture of her youth at home and then comes to her senses. She messages the number to order the substance. On the other hand, whoever is talking to Elizabeth doesn't talk much to her. He just asks for her address and gives her a special address and a call card. The next morning, it's shown that Elizabeth is reading the newspaper, where she sees an ad for an interview of a new model to replace Elizabeth. This makes her even more depressed. Along with the newspaper, she picks up an envelope, which is black in color. When Elizabeth opens the envelope, there's a number written on it. Now Elizabeth reaches the secret address given by that man, which is a very secret place inside the house. This is a locker room, which has a number card. Elizabeth accesses this place through it, and then opens her locker, where there is a box which she brings home. When she comes home and opens the box, she finds a lot of things in it. First, a serum and an injection, which have to be used only once. Along with that, there's a stabilizer kit, through which she has to stabilize the new body every day. And this has already been found from that flash drive, that the fluid of that stabilizer will come out of the backbone of the old body. Now, to change both the bodies, a special kind of kit is given. And along with that, special food is also given for both the bodies that is for the young and old body. After this, Elizabeth goes to the washroom and keeps looking at her body for a long time, as if she's not able to decide whether she should do this or not. Then, after thinking about it, she injects that green fluid, that substance, into herself. For a while, nothing happens to Elizabeth. But then after a while, she's in so much pain that her eyes start to burst. Her eyeballs double in her eyes, and then the next second her back starts to burst from where a new and young girl comes out. This is Elizabeth's new version, a new young body which comes out of the old body. This new version of Elizabeth looks at herself in the mirror. And for a long time she can't believe that what she's used has worked. She becomes so beautiful and young that she doesn't even think about it. After seeing her beauty for a long time, she now the old version of Elizabeth, that is the backbone of the old body. After tearing it, she comes out. After that, she attaches a food bag with her to keep her old body alive. The company that gave it to her, she enjoys her beauty all night today. When she wakes up in the morning, her nose is bleeding. Seeing this, she gets worried, and she remembers that she's been given an activator kit. And she's told that every day, to keep the new body, that is the young body, active, she has to remove the substance from the backbone of the old body and inject it into herself. That's why she immediately starts removing the substance from the backbone of the old body, and after applying this injection, she becomes completely normal. The beauty of this new version is much more than before. That's why she gets ready and goes for the audition of the same show from where she was removed. There, everyone is stunned to see Elizabeth's beauty, and the director also immediately selects Elizabeth. Elizabeth had told her name here, so after being selected in the interview, so remembers that she has to change her body every week, for which she makes an excuse that my mom is sick, and I have to go to my village every week to take care of my mom. The director, without thinking, understood. In his week he had also agreed to the condition of taking holidays. Finally, so got this job, and she's enjoying this job a lot. She gets beauty from this new body. By showing it off, she quickly makes a lot of followers. And as soon as she sees it, her billboards, her ads start running all over the city. And now 6 days have passed, Elizabeth comes to this new body. And today is the 7th day, the day to shift the body. Because now for a whole week, Elizabeth's old version, old body, will be active. After shifting the body, Elizabeth does foot attach with her new body. And then she goes to her office to her show, where the director gives her a gift in exchange for her money. And by doing a lot of bad things to her, he takes her out of the office, because of which she's feeling very bad when she comes home. Anyway, now the next day comes. Elizabeth gets an envelope while reading the newspaper. She gets the company from where she had taken that substance. There's a message in this envelope that her new refill kit has arrived. And Elizabeth now wears her court shirt and brings that kit. Now 7 days are completed, and Elizabeth turns into so. She activates her new body. Now, this new body had to take all the fun in the world. In this case, she could have been at home sometimes, sometimes not. Her truth could have been revealed. That's why she decided to break a wall in her house and hide Elizabeth's old body there. So's ruckus is making so much noise that her neighbors also start getting worried, and when a neighbor comes to complain to her, So can't even complain about her beauty. On the contrary, she says, if you need any help, call me. I live nearby, but So is doing secret work. She doesn't need anyone's help. That's why she closes the door on her neighbor's face in a very sneaky way. And then she comes in and takes many hours to complete her work. She makes a secret room in her house, in which she hides Elizabeth's old body now because So has taken Elizabeth's place, and So is going to be famous. That's why she hides all the photos of Elizabeth's youth with her. Elizabeth is having so much fun in her new body that at this time she forgets that today is the day of shifting. Her old Elizabeth's body is running out of food, and today she has to shift her body. So also brings her friend home. When she comes home and is busy with her work, suddenly she feels blood flowing from her nose, and a strange sensation starts in her body. She understands that now it's time to shift her body. But instead of shifting her body, she's greedy. She decides to stay in her new body for a little longer. and takes out all the substances from Elizabeth's body and injects them into her body, which makes her better. But what will happen to Elizabeth's body will be found out later, so spends 7 more days like this, and then shifts her body. When she comes to Elizabeth's body, she sees that one of her fingers has melted, and this is all because of her carelessness. She did not switch her body on time. In tension, Elizabeth calls the company and asks them, "I missed my cycle. I did not switch my body, because of which one of my fingers is broken. What is the solution to fix it?" Then the company replies, "There is no solution to this. Whatever happened, happened." And listening to this, she gets very scared. The company tells her that you are not two, you are one. Your new body has also come out of one body. That's why you have to be careful. Anyway, Elizabeth comes to get her new refill kit. After getting her refills, she goes to a restaurant where she sees an old man who is talking to her strangely. Elizabeth notes that she has the same mark on her hand as she saw in the hospital on the nurse's hand. Not this. This was the old version of that nurse. This old man asks her, "Has your new body started eating you?" Hearing this, she gets scared and runs away from there. Elizabeth now comes to her house. She wants to be happy in this old version too. That's why she calls her friend. To meet her, she gets very beautiful. She wears very beautiful clothes and does her makeup like a new version. After getting ready, she's about to go out. She sees Sue's posters outside. As soon as she sees it, all her confidence is lost, and she messes up her makeup, her hair, everything. She's going crazy because of her depression. She eats a lot of food, and then she goes to sleep. The next day we see that now Elizabeth has switched her body, and this is the time of her show. Elizabeth is now dancing. That is, she's shooting her show. Then suddenly a hump comes on her lower body. As soon as she sees it, she gets confused. She leaves the shooting and goes to the washroom. She's scrolling this hump. When she takes it out of her belly button, she finds out that this was a chicken, which was eaten by Elizabeth at night. As soon as she sees this, she gets very scared and her eyes open. This was all Elizabeth's dream. In the morning, she actually switched her body and went for her show, but as soon as she got there, she gets scared seeing this, that the people of the show are packing for the shooting, and they tell her that from now on this show will not work. She gets scared and goes to the director. So the director turns her worry into happiness, saying that now she will not do this ordinary show. In fact, she will host the New Year's Eve. As soon as she hears this, there's no place for her happiness. Without much thought, she says yes, although New Year's Eve is the day when she had to switch her body and go to Elizabeth's body, not caring about this now for many days. She stays in this new body, and to activate this, Elizabeth means from her old body. She takes out the stabilizer and keeps injecting it into her body, which was affecting Elizabeth's old body. Now, after many days, when she switches herself, she realizes that Elizabeth was completely old. Due to taking out her serum more, now seeing her condition, Elizabeth starts hating Sue. She starts killing all the photos of Sue in her house. She even covers the mirror of her house, where she used to see Sue's billboards from the front. Elizabeth is very worried. She calls the company and asks them, "Is there a solution for all this? Can't I get the same body back? I took out the new version of Sue." The company tells her, "It was already told you. What's done is done. Now nothing can be changed, but it's in your hands. If you want to stop everything, you can stop it here. Now you can spend your whole life with your old body." But Elizabeth doesn't agree. Now Elizabeth gets a call from Show, and she switches her body again. As soon as she switches her body, she takes out the substance of Elizabeth's old body and injects it into her body for 3 months. Elizabeth enjoys in Sue's body. And then, just one night before New Year's Eve, Her fluid is over. She comes to a boy's house today, and then she feels that her body's organs are bursting. As soon as she feels this, she wants to take out the serum from Elizabeth's old body, but today the serum doesn't come out. She's very worried, so she calls the company and asks, what should I do now? The company tells her, if the serum is not coming out, it means you have used all the serum, and now you have to wait for a new serum. By then you have to switch your body. Sue's condition was very bad with this call. She starts switching her body. And the boy is also listening to all these sounds. He also feels something strange to investigate. He comes to the washroom, but this old Elizabeth locked the washroom immediately, before the boy could see. Her horrible form, she was very old, and also bald. It was very difficult for her to walk. Elizabeth is very worried. She calls the company and says, I want to stop all this. The company agrees and tells her to take the termination fluid. Elizabeth's body is looking terrible with her efforts. She hides the body in her clothes, and then she goes to take the termination substance. After bringing the termination substance, she was going to apply it on Sue's body. Then she remembers the company's manager. If you inject the termination substance, then the body in which you are now, you will always be the same. Thinking this, she does not inject the serum. She looks at her body in the mirror, and she starts getting angry at Sue again, because all this happened because of Sue. She also injects the serum in Sue. But just now, she injects only half the serum. She remembers she has to host a very big show, and in the coming days. She also had to get that award. She had to hear her praises, like what people used to do to her before. In this greed, she does not inject half the serum, and then she starts picking up Sue, after trying to wake her up for a long time. When Sue does not wake up, she thinks of switching the body, but when the body does not switch, then Elizabeth takes out the activator from her backbone and puts it on Sue, and Sue gets activated. That is, at one time, as soon as she gets activated, when Sue sees that Elizabeth is going to terminate her. Then she gets very angry. In her anger, she hits Elizabeth so much that finally her head crashes, and she dies. After killing Elizabeth, she realizes that she had done very wrong. Now she is not even going to get the activator substance. Anyway, now she cleans everything from here and goes for her New Year program. The crowd welcomes her very enthusiastically. She is feeling very good, but then suddenly she starts feeling something strange in her body. Blood starts coming from her nose, and she gets scared and comes to the washroom. As soon as she opens her mouth, her 2 teeth break and fall. As soon as she opens her mouth and touches her 2 teeth, they also break and fall, and then she realizes, because of the death of the real Elizabeth, her body has become hollow. Now, if she had to stay alive somehow, she had to apply activation serum, for which she goes to her house. But when she was in the lift, one of her nails and one of her ears fell off. She panics badly, but then someone else comes in the lift, and until she stands here, she does not want to show herself at all. She acts as if nothing had happened, and then she comes home quickly. Now, as soon as Sue goes and applies activation serum, nothing happens. Then she remembers that she has kept 2 substances which she had to use only once. Without thinking anything, she injects this substance into herself, and as soon as she does this, Sue is in a lot of pain. As before, her body tears from the waist, and from inside, a mixture of Sue and Elizabeth, a strange variant comes out, which looks like a scary monster. Sue has become a hybrid. Her mental condition is so bad, but she does not realize. Now, what is she? Can she go in front of the world or not? She puts a picture of Sue on her hybrid face and goes to her show. As soon as she reaches the mic on the stage, the photo falls from her mouth, and everyone sees her terrible hybrid face. which looks very creepy. Everyone is scared of her, and she runs away calling her a monster, afraid of Elizabeth. Now a man, with a baseball bat, strikes Elizabeth's face, and her face falls down, and blood comes out of her body, and spreads all over the studio. Everyone runs away, and Elizabeth's body, divided into weird pieces, and comes out of there like an insect, where below Elizabeth's star is made. Her whole body is finished, and now Elizabeth's face, which was lying on the floor, which was looking at the sky, and was smiling, and suddenly the blood comes out, and the next morning the workers clean it,